This is the story of Metroid Dread. Metroid Dread was originally conceived over 15 years ago. This has been a gaming mystery for 15 years. It's the long-awaited 5th entry to the Metroid series, not to be confused with the Metroid Prime series. That begs the question, why did it take 15 whole years for this game to be made? Metroid Dread has been around for quite a while. The title, Metroid Dread, first appeared on a 2005 internal Nintendo software list of key DS games set to be announced in the future. DS games? That's right, Metroid Dread was originally being made for the Nintendo DS. The press who got this list assumed that it would appear at E3 2005 or 2006, but as we now know, it was never shown. At this current point in time, the public did not know about the existence of Metroid Dread. The first time the title was revealed to the public was in the June 2005 Game Informer magazine. The magazine said Metroid Dread was a 2D Metroid adventure, coming to the DS as part of Nintendo's 2006 lineup. Moderators at Game Informer allegedly said it was a side-scrolling sequel to Metroid Fusion. Apart from the magazine and the internal list, the official Nintendo magazine in the UK showed Metroid Dread on its official release calendar, marked as TBC, in the March 2006 issue. This led even more people to believe an announcement would happen soon. But those hopes were crushed in 2007. Nintendo outright told Computer and Video Games, known as CVG, that Nintendo was not making the 2D Metroid at this point in time. But they definitely were, since it not only showed up on the internal list, but as well as the UK magazine. So Nintendo was hiding something from us. They weren't really that good at hiding this project from us. Since 2007's Metroid Prime 3, the players who played the Wii Quest can use the scan visor to read lore and other things. Doing just that on one mid-game world, if you scammed a Space Pirate terminal, it would display the following message.
Experiment status report update. Metroid Project Dread is nearing the final stages of completion.
Metroid Prime 3 game director Mark Pacini told MTV that it was a coincidence, as it was a fictional element of something else in the game. In that same interview, producer Brian Walker insisted it was an innocuous coincidence. Yeah, no, definitely not a coincidence. After that gained traction, the Japanese version of the game reportedly changed the text to a Dread-class turret instead of it just saying Metroid Project Dread. The story went cold until May 2010. Craig Harris, who worked at IGN, said the following.
Well, they still have Metroid Dread, at least the script for it, and I bring it up every single time, and they do have the story. I mean, I saw the synopsis of the game, and I know it exists, and they pulled the plug at the last minute. So, I mean, I know that exists, and they can always bring it back.
So Nintendo still had this game in their back pocket. They were clearly just waiting for something. Still in 2010, Kotaku talked with Yoshio Sakamoto, which is Metroid's series director. He told the outlet that he couldn't deny the existence of it or say if it would be his next project and wanted to keep the game a mystery. Although he did also say he wanted to reset the situation at once and start from scratch. So whatever Nintendo had planned for Metroid Dread prior to 2010 was scrapped. But why would they do that? Development for a video game isn't an easy task. There are multiple factors that can go wrong. The story could be lacking, the game could be too similar to other installments in the series, and not to mention, hardware at that time wasn't what it is today. The last point is exactly why Metroid Dread took 15 years to make. Metroid series producer Yoshio Sakamoto attempted to have Dread developed for the DS at least twice, but the technology was too limited to create the game he envisioned. What he envisioned was a Nintendo DS sequel to Metroid Fusion. It came from the concept of having Samus followed by
Dread.
on an unfamiliar planet, which we now know as Planet ZDR. The first attempt at making Metroid Dread for the DS was in 2005, while a second attempt was made around 2008, and a playable prototype was shown to Nintendo Software Technology and Nintendo of America's staff at E3 2009. The prototype did not meet Sakamoto's expectations, so development was halted. The reason for this was that Sakamoto's desire for an
Intimidating, unsettling antagonist
was too difficult to achieve with the DS's hardware. So what kickstarted the creation of Metroid Dread again for the third time? Well, you can thank a studio named Mercury Steam. After catching the industry's attention with its Castlevania Lords of Shadow series, Mercury Steam formed a successful partnership with Nintendo to remake Metroid 2, which was released in 2017, named Metroid Samus Returns for the 3DS. This game did really well, so Sakamoto knew it was time to make Metroid Dread. He said, "Once I'd finally confirmed the excellent collaboration we had with Mercury Steam, I felt we'd finally found the ideal partner to make my long-standing project come true." Sakamoto went on to make the Metroid Dread game we know today with Mercury Steam. They made a whole new story, but kept the Dread aspect Sakamoto envisioned many years ago. They also wrote the Metroid story to come to a close. Metroid Dread will be the last installment in this story arc that has spanned 35 years. On E3 2021, June 15th to be exact, Nintendo revealed Metroid Dread to the world via Nintendo Direct. The game was released yesterday, October 8, 2021. After its announcement, Metroid Dread became the most pre-ordered game on Amazon in the US, UK, and Japan, as well as the most pre-ordered Switch game on GameStop. What can you expect from Metroid Dread? Well, Nintendo has a really cool website that breaks everything down for you: the story, the characters, and the new gameplay mechanics. But to give you an idea, Metroid Dread starts from a piece of video footage from an unknown source. It indicates that the deadly X-Parasite, thought to have been eradicated, may still live. The X-Parasite is a terrifyingly lethal parasite that could take over organic creatures, mimicking them afterwards based on their genetic information. The Galactic Federation dispatches a special unit consisting of 7 extraplanetary multiform mobile identifiers, known as EMMI robots, which are sent to the remote planet ZDR, believed to be the source of the transmission. Soon after arriving on ZDR, the whole unit vanishes. As the only one immune to the X-Parasite, intergalactic bounty hunter Samus Aran is sent to find out what happened. Shortly after landing, a mysterious foe traps Samus deep below the surface of this dangerous world. Now Samus must hunt or be hunted by the now, for some reason, converted EMMI robots as she makes her way through a labyrinth of enemies to reach the surface. With that said, if the EMMI robots who worked for the Galactic Federation can be converted, does that mean Samus can become evil too? Well, you'll have to find that out for yourself when you play the long-awaited Metroid Dread. The Metroid series, not the Metroid Prime series, haven't seen a new installment in 19 years. So basically, a new Metroid game hasn't released in my entire lifetime, since I'm only 18. Metroid was the very first video game I've ever played, so I cannot wait to play Dread. Are you gonna play Dread, or have you already, considering it just came out yesterday? If so, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. This video required a lot of research, so I would appreciate it if you left a like. Anyways, as a reminder, next week's video will not be a Gaming Mysteries case. The next case will release on this date. My name is Junior, and this has been Gaming Mysteries.